Coming to you from parts unknown, it's Space Capsule talking comics, graphic design, and art. Sit back and enjoy tonight's episode. Happy Thursday, everyone, and welcome to vancecapsuleart.com. Just wanted to say howdy to everybody. Hope everyone's doing well and is looking after each other. Just a brief reminder, this just came in. We're not going to be at the Full Moon Horror and Tattoo Show. That's been canceled for now, so there will not be a Monster Magazine special edition for that. So there'll be more info about that soon. There's going to be a couple of changes coming up when it comes to the Captain Zero and my Devil Bat and other comics I have online. More information will be about that coming up soon. And I think that about does it for now. Anyway, welcome to the show. Today, I'm joined in the studio by a fellow YouTuber, Lillidancer1. She's out of school, like a lot of people are right now, out of work, out of school, whatever. And she's joined me in the studio today, and we're discussing The Amazing Spider-Man #1. Not Amazing Fantasy number whatever it was that had the origin of Spider-Man, but this is the first issue of the Amazing Spider-Man comic book. Welcome to the studio, Lillidancer Films.
Hey, it's a great honor to be here right now.
Super awesome. On her channel, you see toys. She hasn't done videos in a while because of the school situation. You know, when you're in school, you really don't have time to do anything, truth. But anyway, we sat down, we both read over Amazing Spider-Man #1, and it's on the screen right now, and it's just really, really cool, and I'm a big fan of the Fantastic Four. So for me, this is just incredibly awesome. Lillidancer Films, what did you think about Spider-Man #1?
I thought it was very interesting, and I feel like it was written well. Besides Stanley writing by accident an error in the book, Peter Palmer, not Peter Parker. Peter Palmer.
Yeah, in the second story in the book, Peter is called Peter Palmer throughout that story, and she wanted me to make a note of that so we could discuss it. And I told her Stan only did it this one time in this one story. So, and what was you saying? You think maybe he wanted to just change the name of the character?
Yeah, I was thinking maybe he was wanting to change the last name of the character, but it turns out he told us in an interview.
Well, not us, but he told everybody.
He told everyone in an interview that it was just an error.
Yeah, just an error.
Yeah.
So we read of course, we started off with the first story, and it's the one about the space capsule. And we are introduced to Jonah Jameson, and we learn that his son is in this capsule, that the guidance system is screwed up on it, and he's going to crash. And no one can save him, so Spider-Man goes to save him. And, of course, after he saves the guy, of course, Jonah Jameson blames Spider-Man, which becomes kind of a thing for years in the comics. When Spider-Man would do something good, Jameson would blast him in the newspapers. That's just kind of how it rolls. So you had one complaint that you thought it was very wordy, a lot of words in that story. Now she's a lot younger than us, and for her, there's a lot of words in this, and for us older dudes, we're like, oh, there's a lot to read here. But for a younger generation, they don't want a lot of words. They want to see what's going on. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. So what did you think of Jonah Jameson?
He's very evil, and I don't like him.
Do you think Spidey did the right thing?
He did.
Yeah. What did you think of that ending when Spider-Man said that there's a great line at the end of the first story where Spider-Man's like, I'll have to find some way to pay the bills, or maybe I should just turn evil. Well, basically said that. What did you think of that part?
My reaction was like, why would he want to do that? He's like good all of his life.
Yeah. Now, we also talked about how, like if a kid read that back in the day when it first came out,
they would freak out.
So, of course, it was drawn by the late, great Steve Ditko. We noticed, I don't know if he did this on purpose, but there would be like other people in the backgrounds when someone would be saying something, other people would be reacting.
Yeah.
And it was kind of funny.
It was really weird, though, because we saw this one dude in the background. He was, like, in the first comic book. And he, like, was, like, at this thing where you, like, watch Spider-Man do his moves. And he was, like, freaking out, like, wow, this is amazing. I've never seen this before.
Yeah, it's like the shot where Spider-Man is doing all the stunts, and there's, like, on the right and the left, there are heads, and they're all having reaction shots. There's just, like she said, there's this one guy that looks like it's the best thing ever, and he's, like, completely freaked out. And so, was there anything you didn't like about it besides the wordy, all the words?
Nothing really else besides the background people, you know, they're not really drawn very great.
You do know that they had to rush those books out really fast.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Now, the second half of the book is where Spider-Man meets the Fantastic Four to try to get work, and then it becomes the Chameleon story. And to me, it could have easily been divided, but they used the Fantastic Four as bookends, as a beginning and as an ending. The whole time we were reading over this, all I could hear in my head was trying to remember the guy's name. He did the voice of the Chameleon on Seven Little Superheroes on Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, and that stuck in my head. So the whole time I was talking like the Chameleon, and we were just dying laughing. And another thing we were doing was there's a Teen Titans Go cartoon.
Yeah.
Was it? Let's get serious. Well, they go. Let's get serious.
Yeah.
What happens? Well,
hey, we're alone. You only slow me down.
Yeah, there's like this bit where they're trying to be serious all the time, and they're saying serious things, and one of the characters does this. I work alone. You'll only slow
me down.
Yeah, slow me down. I love that pause. It was very fun. But anyway, we were doing it while we were reading this, so it was kind of cool. Now, the Chameleon in the cartoon could change to anybody at any time. And the original Chameleon would have had costumes. He was just a criminal who had costumes, and very scientific, too. Poor Peter Palmer in the story. He had a hard time. Now, what'd you think about Spidey meeting the FF?
I thought that was great, you know, great.
So that would have been if Spider-Man #1. So kids were probably already reading the Fantastic Four. So I guess this was a way kind of saying Spider-Man's okay. He's hanging out with the Fantastic Four. Even though that ending with the Fantastic Four, you remember what they said?
They said that we don't really like Spider-Man, right?
Well, sort of. It was the part where the thing goes, where he says, you know, he's powerful now, but what is he going to be like when he's a grown-up?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have this hint again that Spider-Man could be a criminal, and both stories end that way. So it's kind of cool, you know, to think about it. You know, they could have took it a whole other direction and turned it into a anti-hero, you know, if they wanted to. So, yeah. So that's the book we read, and we had a good time reading it. It's on the screen right now. Now, Lillidancer Films is known mostly for MLP, My Little Pony. That's MLP.
Yeah.
Let's deal with Littlest Pet Shop.
Littlest Pet Shop.
You know, the little kid toys. You know, she collects them, takes pictures of them, shot videos of them over the years. Didn't make a whole lot of videos, but had a lot of fun doing that. And anyway, recently, I'd say, last year?
Yeah.
She saw Into the Spiderverse. And that kind of flipped her whole world upside down.
Yeah.
So now she likes Spider-Man. She likes the Spider-Gwen character and the Miles Morales Spider-Man. And she likes Peter B. Parker Spider-Man. She comes up to my room, my office area, and I have action figures up. And she's every day like, can I play with that Spider-Man? Let me see that Spider-Man. Let me see that Spider-Man. And all over here on my shelf right now, I've got a Scarlet Spider-Man 8-inch or 10-inch toy, and a 12-inch Spider-Man from the movies with Tobey Maguire, a toy of that. And they're pretty cool looking, truth. So, yeah, and she now has, you have in your collection, you have a 6-inch Spider-Man somewhere.
Spider-Woman.
And a Spider-Woman that's 6-inch. But do you still have your Spider-Man that's about this tall?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. And then she now has the 12-inch Spider-Gwen toy, which was almost impossible to find. I just happened to be out of town, and I saw it, and I said, I got to get that for Lillidancer Films. Got to get that for Lillidancer. So I enjoyed the Spiderverse movie. What did you think of it?
I thought it was great. It's well animated, and the story is really great. I feel like that they put a lot of effort into it. They really changed Miles, like, you know, how they made him in the comics. He was like, he can do anything without anything bad, but in the movie it's like, he can do stuff, but he sometimes messes up like others.
They give him faults like any other kid.
Yeah.
It would make him more interesting. That's what I felt about it, too. I feel like the comic version got to the point where they were letting him he can do anything and no problems. And that kind of makes the character weak when your character is just perfect. You don't want a perfect character. You want a character that has problems and failures, because we can relate to that as human beings. I like Spider Noir. I have a copy of Peter Porker Spider-Ham somewhere in my stuff. I have the first issue of that somewhere in my stuff, for real. I don't have Spider Noir. And I remember Gwen Stacy being completely different. That's Spider-Gwen, by the way.
She died.
Yeah, she died. And then the clone brought her, what was that guy's name? The Jackal brought her back. It's just some weird stuff. And then recently they've brought her back into continuity. But for us growing up back in the day, Gwen Stacy died during a battle between Spider-Man and the Green Goblin. And but this is interesting that they're doing something different with it, and it seemed like they're very successful with this new version of Gwen Stacy as Spider-Gwen. So, very cool. You and me were talking earlier today about original characters for the Spiderverse.
Yeah.
So, what would your original OG, or what'd you call it, OC?
My OC's name is... Her name is the Gold Spider. She is, I don't have a real identity name for her yet, but I've made her up. She is called the Gold Spider. She has a purple uniform with a purple hoodie with cat ears. I thought that looks cute because she's sort of an anime style, but she's also Southern, so she likes, Southern stuff. I put a bit of everyone in her from the Spiderverse, like everyone's attitude, like, she likes to eat a lot like Peter B. Parker, or she likes to dance like Gwen Stacy, or she's a really cool kid like Miles, She can be anything,
Very cool. I was telling you that I'd created one when I was a kid, but mine was based off the Spider Fighter logo, and I will pull that up now. Because I wanted that. I could have won the Spider Fighter patch. I'll pull that up if it'll come up. Yeah. And I scored the high point to get it. So, but our stuff, we got everything later in life, so we didn't know the game was already well past, it was already done. So we didn't get that. I think I'll order one online. They don't cost that much. But I used those colors, that purple, black, and yellow, and created a character on the Spider Fighter patch, and created my own character called Webman. And I had fun with that. And I also had another character just called Web with 2 B's, and he was in like an indie comic I'd made for myself but never put out anywhere. But it's so cool to enjoy the Spider-Man and be part of the Spider-Man universe. Or just at least talk about it, My friend Andy Hardison, he is a huge Spider-Man fan. And, back in the day, Spider-Man could do no wrong. And Spider-Man was, he's the everyman. he's the character that, you know, is the most like us in comics, in my opinion. You know, yeah, we get depressed, and like in the Spiderverse movie, yeah, he gets depressed. He eats too much, and he's tired, and he gets a little weight on him, and sleeps a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, we all do that, you know. So he's the most human, I think, of the superheroes out there. But I guess that'll about do it. Anything else you want to add to the spidery stuffs?
I would like to add a message. Excelsior!
Yeah, we definitely were thinking about Stanley the whole time we were reading this Amazing Spider-Man #1, and I mean, I'm sure he talked like that, you know, at home in his home life, you know, like pass me the butter, you know, and you know he wouldn't say margarine, he'd say the whole oleo margarine thing, the whole version of it, pass the oleo margarine, you know, but love Stanley, and definitely love Steve Ditko's artwork. And it took me a long time to get used to his artwork. And it was when I read I finally got a copy of The Creeper when I was probably about 12 or 13. Beware the Creeper, and I was just like, now I get what Ditko was trying to do art-wise. So yeah. Anyway, enough of us rambling. It's time for a comic review. VanceKepleyArt.com here. If you've been following my channel for any length of time, you know that Condor Man is my favorite movie of all time. It influenced me to be a comic book artist and to make comics. The last time I showed you my Condor Man collection, I was missing something. Condor Man #2. I did not have this in my collection. So I started digging around online and was able to find it for super cheap. I believe from Mile High Comics. It's a comic shop in Colorado. It used to be. But this is the comic adaptation of the conclusion of the film. It's a little bit different than the movie, and there's nothing wrong with that. The artwork is very, very good. I think this artist worked on Dr. Solar Man of the Atom back in the 60s. Has that look, that certain look to it. And of course, it was published by the fine folks at Whitman, who used this kind of rounded squares or rectangles or whatever for their letter boxes. And they also tend to use this pinkish red for some reason a lot. Lots of purples and pinkish reds in their books. Again, excellent. And I'm not going to even review this, because if I did, there's no number that would go beyond what I actually would review it, because it's Condor Man, so, you know, what can I do? We'll say 10 out of 10. Again. And, yes. It's just a lot of fun in here. Based on the great Condor Man film, which is a lot of fun, and still ironically missing from the Mickey Mouse Plus. Yes, still cannot figure that one out, boys and girls. Still cannot figure that one out. Most people who saw this when they were kids are still in love with the film. People who watch it nowadays, kind of hit and miss, because they're so used to the flash bang pow of the modern films, superhero films. This is a fun film. Anyway, the comic is really good. Slight changes from the movie, which I'm meh about, but that's okay. It's a comic adaptation. You know, there are certain things they have to do. So, do I recommend this? Yes. If you're a Condor Man fan and you collect comics, I recommend you grabbing this. 1 through 3 are available online in different places. This is a great condition copy I have of this. I'm very happy about that. My other 2 books are kind of rough, but this one, perfect. There was only 3 issues produced. They also did a Condor Man comic strip in the Sunday paper. It's really good if you ever get a chance to see that. Speaking of the great Condor Man, In the Bearman book, which is available at lulu.com, I drew myself as Condor Man. Let's see if I can find that in here. Let's see here. Where did I do that at? You're saying to yourself, there's a lot of comic pages here. It sure is, Billy. It sure is. And I drew myself as Condor Man, representing one of my old comics I drew. And there's fan art in here, and there's tons of comics. 148 pages worth of comics. Giant robots, return of public domain superheroes in a modern context, a nursing home for public domain superheroes, the Evil Claw, reprints of the Evil Claw, kind of get everybody up to speed on how evil the Claw was. And then the super awesome battle with the Condor Man picture. How odd. And then this super awesome battle at the end of the book between the Claw and Bearman and the grandson of Silver Streak and the grandson of Daredevil. And one of my favorite things is where Bearman falls into this oddball dimension, and you learn more about that as the story goes. There's also a nod to Shogun Warriors right here. Let's see, more weirdness. And at the end of the book, the heroes are rescued by someone else, and you'll find out who that is when you read the book. There's the hero nursing home, all the heroes hanging out, and one villain. Thought that was kind of a neat twist. And there's my character, the Ghoul, giving Claw some crap. It's a lot of fun. There he is, getting after him again, having some fun with him. There's another story about the crawling thing from Planet 13. What is crawling thing from Planet 13? Oh wait, there it is. Back it up. Come on, dude. Shapeless thing from Planet 13. Yes, that's it. Anyway, these were all released individually, and they didn't sell. And now I made this big book and just collected all of them in one big old thick book, and it did pretty good. And this cover is kind of an homage to the what is that, the Excalibur cover, where it has like a cleaning guy on the cover telling what, you know, if you're looking for the masked superheroes and adventures and all that, look inside. And I kind of did the same here, but in my own way. You know, he's talking about everything that's in this comic, and then don't just stand there, buy the book, you know. Yes, a killer baked potato from outer space. If you're into fun superhero stuff, that's the route to go. But if you're looking for something a little more classic, and you love Condor Man, 10 out of 10, Condor Man, and all the issues are online. You just got to look for them, and you can get them at a pretty fair price. We thank you for watching. Look after each other. God bless. Somewhere in a remote, uncharted region of the planet called Earth stands the laboratory of Captain Zero, research explorer in time and space. In this secret location, known only to a few in the outside world, Captain Zero and his associates experiment in time and space to learn from the past, to plan for the future. Contact has been established. We now transmit you direct to the laboratory of Captain Zero. Please stand by.
Vance Kepley is a self-taught artist who has worked in various mediums, including drawing, painting, and graphic design for over 20 years. He now has his designs here on TeePublic. Old school, unique, stylish, He is also available to help you with your original TeePublic designs. Make sure you visit Vince Kepley Art 1972 at teepublic.com. You'll be glad you did.